This is not just another day, and if you felt something slightly off, slightly unclear, or strangely quiet within you lately, this is exactly why. Right now, there is a powerful Mars and Neptune energy shift happening, and most people will completely miss what it's actually doing to their life. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is happening in a way that's subtle, quiet, and easy to ignore. And that's what makes this moment so important, because the people who notice it move forward with clarity, and the ones who don't unknowingly step into confusion that takes time to undo. There's something you need to understand before we go deeper. This energy is not here to rush you. It's not here to push you into making big, dramatic decisions. In fact, it's doing the opposite. It's slowing things down internally while creating pressure externally. And that creates a very specific feeling. You might feel like you should act, like something needs to move, like there's urgency building around you. But at the same time, something inside you is quietly asking you to pause. That internal contradiction is not random. That is the exact point where Mars and Neptune are interacting within you. Mars is action. It's movement. It's the part of you that wants to go forward without hesitation. Neptune, on the other hand, doesn't give you straight answers. It blurs things. It softens clarity. It creates a fog where things feel right on the surface but don't fully hold up when you look deeper. And when these two energies meet, something very unusual happens. You don't just act blindly, and you don't just stay confused. You experience a moment in between, a pause, a hesitation that doesn't feel like fear, doesn't feel like doubt, but still stops you for just a second. And that second is everything. Because in that moment, you are being shown something before you commit to it. Not after, not through consequences, but before. And that is rare. Most of the time in life we learn by doing something, then realizing later whether it was right or wrong. But this energy shift flips that completely. It gives you awareness before action. It gives you a signal before the outcome. And if you ignore that signal, you don't feel the cost immediately. Nothing dramatic happens right away. That's why it's so easy to overlook. But over time, you start to notice that things didn't go the way they could have. That you stepped into something that didn't fully align. That you moved too quickly through something that needed a little more attention. So here's what you need to watch for. That moment where you're about to say something, and suddenly you pause. That moment where you're about to send a message, and something in you hesitates. That moment where you're about to agree to something, and it feels right, but not completely right. Most people override that instantly. They move forward anyway because it feels small. It feels insignificant. But right now, that is the most important signal you can receive. Because it's not stopping you, it's showing you. And this is where everything starts to shift. Because not everything that feels off during this time is a problem. Some of it is actually protection. Some of it is redirection happening in real time. Plans might not go the way you expected. Conversations might not flow the way you thought they would. Something you were sure about might suddenly feel uncertain. And the instinct most people have is to fix it, to force it, to push it back into place. But this is not the moment to force anything. This is the moment to observe. Because sometimes what doesn't happen is the very thing that saves you from something that shouldn't have happened at all. There is a deeper layer to this energy that most people won't even recognize while it's happening, and it shows up in a very simple way. You might feel the urge to talk about your plans, to share what you're about to do, to say it out loud so it feels more real. And it feels positive. It feels exciting, like you're finally moving forward. But what you need to understand is that not everything grows stronger when it's shared too early. Some things lose their clarity the moment they leave you, because once you say it out loud, it's no longer just yours. It passes through other people's thoughts, their doubts, their interpretations. And even if they support you, something subtle shifts. The certainty you had starts to soften. The direction you felt starts to blur. That's not because the idea changed, it's because it was exposed before it was fully formed. And during this Mars-Neptune energy, that effect is stronger than usual. So if something matters to you, if something feels real to you, let it stay with you a little longer. Let it develop without interference. Let it become strong enough to hold itself before you bring it into the world. If you've made it this far, don't forget to subscribe for daily cosmic insights, astrology updates, and spiritual guidance, because the universe always has a message for you. Now, there's something even deeper happening beneath all of this, and this is where the real transformation begins. For a long time, many of you have been stuck in a cycle of thinking, questioning, going back and forth without fully moving forward. You feel ready one moment, and then unsure the next. You want something, but at the same time, something pulls you back. Not enough to stop you completely, but enough to keep you from fully committing. And over time, that becomes exhausting. Not because anything dramatic is happening, but because nothing fully moves. This energy shift is breaking that cycle. Not by forcing you forward, but by making that in-between space uncomfortable. You'll start to feel that staying stuck is heavier than choosing a direction. And the moment you choose, really choose without immediately pulling yourself back, something shifts internally. The resistance drops. The confusion starts to clear. And suddenly, things that felt complicated begin to feel simple again. At the same time, your sense of ambition is changing. What you thought you wanted might not feel the same anymore. Goals that once seemed important might start to lose their weight. And something else, something quieter but more real, starts to come into focus. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't need to be explained. It just feels right in a way that's hard to ignore. That's because this energy is not just shifting your decisions. It's shifting your alignment. It's showing you what actually belongs to you and what never really did. And here's the truth most people won't realize until later. Ignoring this moment doesn't create immediate problems. Life will still move forward. Things will still happen. But what you miss is the chance to adjust without cost. Because if you don't notice these signals now, you will notice them later. But through experience, through mistakes, through situations that could have been avoided if you had just paused for a moment and paid attention. There is also a powerful opportunity hidden in this energy, and it's something most people overlook because they're too focused on what feels unclear. This is a moment where small actions carry more weight than usual. A simple decision, a small step, a quiet realization. It doesn't stay small. It builds. It creates movement. It opens paths that weren't visible before. But the key is not rushing into action. The key is acting with awareness. Acting after you've observed, after you've felt that pause, after you've understood what's actually happening beneath the surface. Think about it like this. There's a difference between moving quickly and moving correctly. Most of the time, people choose speed because it feels productive, but right now, precision matters more than speed. One clear step taken with awareness will take you further than 10 rushed decisions made without it. And this is your advantage. This is what this energy is offering you. So if you've been feeling something strange, something you couldn't fully explain, something that made you question things that usually feel certain, you're not imagining it. You're not overthinking. You're becoming aware. And that awareness is what separates the people who move forward with clarity from the ones who get caught in confusion. Take a moment and ask yourself, where have I been rushing? Where have I been ignoring that small pause? Where have I been trying to force something that doesn't fully feel right? And instead of pushing through it, just observe it. Let it show you what you need to see, because this is not a moment that needs to be controlled. It's a moment that needs to be understood. And if even a small part of this resonated with you, if you felt that pause, if you recognized that signal, then you're already ahead. You didn't miss this moment, you caught it, and that alone can change the direction of what comes next. So don't rush, don't force. Just move with a little more awareness than you had before, because sometimes the biggest shifts don't come from doing more. They come from finally seeing clearly. If you feel this energy, if you know something is shifting for you right now, comment below, "I claim this clarity," and step into this moment with intention. Now here's where this energy shift becomes even more powerful. And this is something most people won't notice until it's already changed something important in their life. Because up until now, we've been talking about hesitation, awareness, and subtle signals. But there's another layer to this that goes deeper than just your actions. It starts affecting your perception of reality itself. And that's where things begin to shift in a way that feels almost unreal if you're paying attention closely. During this Mars Neptune energy, you're not just seeing things differently, you're starting to see through things. Situations that once made sense suddenly feel questionable. People you trusted without thinking might start showing small inconsistencies. Conversations that used to feel normal might now feel slightly off, like something isn't being said clearly. And the strange part is, nothing obvious changes on the outside. Everything looks the same, but the way you perceive it changes completely. That's not confusion, that's awareness sharpening beneath the surface. Because Neptune doesn't just create illusion, it also dissolves illusion when the timing is right. And Mars gives you the courage to actually face what you're seeing instead of ignoring it. This is why some of you might feel like you're outgrowing certain situations right now without any dramatic event happening. No big argument, no clear ending, no obvious reason, just a quiet realization that something doesn't feel the same anymore. And that can feel uncomfortable because your mind wants a clear explanation. It wants a reason you can point to. But this energy doesn't always give you that. It gives you a feeling first, and the understanding comes later. And this is where most people make a mistake. They try to force clarity immediately. They try to label what they're feeling before it's fully revealed. But right now, clarity doesn't come from forcing answers. It comes from allowing things to unfold. Because what's being shown to you is not surface level. It's something deeper that needs a moment to fully come into focus. There's also something happening in your external life that mirrors this internal shift. You might notice delays, miscommunications, or sudden changes in plans. Things might not go as smoothly as expected. And again, the instinct is to fix it, to push harder, to get things back on track. But what if that delay is actually alignment? What if that miscommunication is revealing something that would have stayed hidden? What if that shift in plans is quietly moving you away from something that wasn't meant to continue? This is where awareness becomes your advantage, because instead of reacting immediately, you start observing patterns. You start noticing what keeps showing up and what keeps falling away. And over time, a clearer picture begins to form without you having to force it. There's also a powerful emotional shift happening right now that many people won't fully understand until later. You might feel moments of sudden clarity about your past. Things that once confused you suddenly make sense. Situations that hurt you start to feel distant, like they belong to a different version of you. And this is not about forgetting what happened. It's about seeing it from a higher perspective. It's about realizing that everything you went through shaped you into who you are now. And once you see that clearly, something inside you lets go. Not because you're trying to move on, but because you've finally understood what needed to be understood. And when that happens, you stop carrying the weight of something that no longer belongs to you. This is the deeper healing aspect of this energy. It's not loud, it's not dramatic, but it's real. And it changes the way you move forward without you even realizing it at first. So, if you've been feeling more reflective, more aware, more sensitive to things that usually don't affect you as much, that's not weakness. That's you tuning into something deeper. That's you becoming more aligned with what's real and what isn't. And the more you trust that process, the clearer everything becomes. You don't need to chase answers right now. You don't need to force decisions. Just stay present with what's being revealed. Because this is not confusion. This is clarity in the process of forming. And if you're starting to see things differently, if you feel like something is quietly shifting within you, comment below, "I see the truth now," and allow this awareness to guide you forward. Now, as this energy continues to unfold, something even more significant begins to happen. And this is where everything you've been experiencing starts to come together in a way that actually changes your direction. Because this isn't just about awareness anymore. This is about choice. And not the kind of choice that feels forced or pressured, but the kind that becomes obvious once you finally see clearly. There comes a point in this energy where the hesitation you've been feeling turns into understanding. That pause you experienced earlier is no longer just a signal. It becomes a decision point. You either trust what you're sensing, or you override it and fall back into old patterns. And this is where the real shift happens. Because for a long time, many of you have been repeating cycles without even realizing it. Saying yes when you should have said no. Moving forward when something didn't feel right. Ignoring small signals until they became bigger problems. And once you see the truth clearly, your actions naturally begin to align with it. You don't have to push yourself. You don't have to convince yourself. You just start moving differently because you're no longer operating from confusion. You're operating from clarity. There's also something important you need to understand about timing right now. This is not a moment that lasts forever. This window of heightened awareness, of subtle signals, of internal clarity, it comes and goes. And what you do with it matters. Not in a dramatic way, but in a directional way. Because the choices you make now, even the small ones, start to shape what comes next. And this doesn't mean you need to do something big. In fact, it's often the smallest decisions that carry the most impact during moments like this. Choosing to pause instead of reacting. Choosing to listen instead of assuming. Choosing to trust yourself instead of seeking validation. These are the kinds of shifts that change everything over time. And here's the truth that most people overlook. You don't need perfect clarity to move forward. You just need enough awareness to avoid what doesn't feel right. That alone can save you from paths that would have taken you further away from where you're meant to be. And that's what this energy is offering you. Not perfection, not certainty, but awareness. And awareness is enough, because once you see clearly, even a little, you start making better decisions without even trying. So, as you move forward from here, don't rush to figure everything out. Don't pressure yourself to have all the answers. Just hold on to what you've seen. Hold on to that sense of knowing, even if you can't fully explain it yet. Because that's your guide right now. That's what's leading you in the right direction. And the more you trust it, the stronger it becomes. This is not about changing your entire life overnight. It's about shifting your awareness in a way that naturally changes your path. And once that shift happens, everything else begins to align without force. So, if you've made it this far, if you've felt this message resonate with you, then you're already in that shift. You're already seeing what most people overlook. And that means you're already moving differently. So take that with you. Move forward with intention. Trust what you feel. And remember, this moment didn't pass you by. You recognized it, you understood it, and now you can use it. If you're ready to step into this new clarity, comment below, "I trust my path," and move forward knowing that something powerful has already begun within you.